Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC. Today, we're diving into some massive Liverpool headlines. From the shocking 79M Mbappé replacement rumor to questions over Mohamed Salah's dip in form and how Arne Slot plans to turn it all around. Plus, there's fresh news on Marc Guehi's transfer battle and a surprising Chiesa update that's got fans talking. Stay tuned, hit that like, subscribe, and let's break it all down, the Reds way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Liverpool star could replace Kylian Mbappé as 79 million transfer impact becomes clear. Hugo Ekitike has enjoyed a superb start to his Liverpool career and could now be handed a first start for France during the international break after being allocated the number 9 shirt. Hugo Ekitike has hit the ground running at Liverpool, with the striker ultimately the only summer signing to make an immediate impact at Anfield. The 23-year-old has already netted 5 goals and provided an assist in his first 10 games for the club, including 3 goals from 6 Premier League matches, scoring on his debut against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield and in his first English top-flight match against AFC Bournemouth. He then went on to become the first player to score in each of his first 3 Liverpool appearances since Daniel Sturridge in 2013. Already a hit with the fans, who regularly sing his catchy chant on match days. He also scored the winning goal in his first Merseyside derby last month. His impressive form, following his 79m transfer from Eintracht Frankfurt, has not gone unnoticed and earned him his first senior international call-up earlier this season. However, this only came about after Ryan Cherki had to withdraw from Didier Deschamps' squad due to injury, with the in-form Reds forward called up as first reserve, reports the Liverpool Echo. The World Cup winning manager handed Ekitike his France debut last month against Ukraine as a late substitute, before bringing him on in the final minute against Iceland. The forward, who wore the number 19 jersey in both games, featured for just 10 minutes across his first 2 international caps. But fast forward a month and, with Ekitike this time called up in his own right for the October international break, he could be set to play a significant role. The striker has reportedly been given the prestigious number 9 shirt as France gear up for their upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Azerbaijan and Iceland, according to French journalist Elise Peters. And with a glance at France's attacking options for the 2 matches, Ekitike might even be in line for his first international start. Kylian Mbappé was the main striker when Ekitike made his first 2 appearances for his country, with Desire Doué and Bradley Barcola on the wings for his debut against Ukraine. Marcus Thuram then took over from the former against Iceland, as injuries to Doué and substitute Ousmane Dembélé ultimately paved the way for the Liverpool forward for both games. Doué and Dembélé are both still injured, and they have also been joined on the sidelines by Barcola. Meanwhile, Thuram, Cherki, and Randal Kolo Muani were also missing from the latest France squad. As a result, the uncapped Jean-Philippe Mateta received his own maiden call-up, with Kingsley Coman, Christopher Nkunku, Michael Olise, Florian Thauvin, and Magnus Akaluche joining Ekitike and Mbappé as Deschamps' attacking options. However, the France captain is also a doubt due to injury, after Mbappé suffered an ankle injury in Real Madrid's victory over Villarreal. Deschamps would provide an update on the striker, alongside Ibrahima Konate, who picked up a thigh injury in Liverpool's defeat to Chelsea, as he dismissed concerns they were dealing with serious problems. There are still injuries. I don't have any additional information, Deschamps said. We'll have an update when the players arrive. Kylian is here? He had a small problem that isn't a deal-breaker. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come. The observation is that for the vast majority, they arrive tired. They arrive from 1 week to 3 matches. I will have to spread out the playing time more than in September. They are all fit to play. Consequently, it appears that, irrespective of Mbappé's fitness, additional chances will be available for Ekitike. Being handed the number 9 jersey provides a further indication of the position he might be about to occupy. With the forward undoubtedly hoping for a maiden start, and perhaps first goal for France in the coming weeks, his campaign to remember is set to continue as his reputation continues to grow following his big-money transfer to Liverpool. What has gone wrong for Mohamed Salah at Liverpool and how Arne Slot can now fix it. Mohamed Salah is facing questions over his starting role at Liverpool, and there are several reasons why this season has become more difficult. The jeers that greeted Mohamed Salah on his latest return to former club Chelsea at the weekend were nothing new to the Liverpool winger. But for arguably the first time in his illustrious Anfield career, the Egyptian is now facing genuine questions about his place in the Reds starting lineup. A blunt showing at Stamford Bridge was the latest in a series of hugely underwhelming displays from Salah that have fallen way short of the standards he set on the way to becoming footballer and PFA Player of the Year and a Premier League champion last season. It isn't that the 33-year-old has stopped producing reasonable numbers, having registered 3 goals and 3 assists in 10 appearances this term. Indeed, his tally of 4 goal contributions in 7 Premier League games is bettered by only 6 players. But the eye test and a deeper dive into the numbers highlights a player struggling for form. Perhaps the most alarming such statistic from Saturday evening was that Salah didn't complete a successful dribble or go past a player once, and had the fewest touches of any outfield player who played 90 minutes. His successful dribble rate is currently just 12.5% compared to 42.3% last season. Across the board, his metrics are down. Both Salah's average number of shots and touches in the opposing penalty area have halved in the Premier League so far this campaign, while there has been a drop in the amount of times he brings the ball forward and the chances he creates. Salah is winning even fewer free kicks per game than last season, fewer than 1 a game. Although the lack of protection from referees has long been a problem with which the Liverpool man has had to contend, and it's not as if Liverpool aren't finding Salah sufficiently. The player having received significantly more progressive passes than anyone else in the Premier League this season. And in terms of creativity, nobody has played more successful through balls in the top flight. But Salah's drop-off isn't just over the last 2 months. In his last 24 games in all competitions for Liverpool, Salah has scored just 4 non-penalty goals from 52 shots. Reasons aren't difficult to find. Chief among them, the departure of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Before the start of the campaign, Salah played 3/16 of his 401 games for Liverpool, with Alexander-Arnold behind him down the right flank. The creative fulcrum of a team, first under Jurgen Klopp and then Arne Slot, that claimed regular major honors. This season, Salah has already seen Connor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong, Dominic Szoboszlai, Wataru Endo, and Joe Gomez all feature at right back. Slot still searching for a regular in the position. The attack has also been overhauled at great cost, with strikers 125 million Alexander Isak and 79M Hugo Ekitike joined by 198 attacking midfielder Florian Wirtz. It means the usual patterns and rhythms aren't there in Liverpool's game just yet, as they search for a new offensive structure, and that has allowed opposing defenses to focus even greater on negating Salah's threat. Too often he is finding himself up against 2 or 3 defenders with no obvious outlet readily available. The new influx of players are Liverpool's future, with Salah now in the tricky process of starting to hand over the baton and pass on his experience while attempting to forge on-field relationships with those who will eventually replace his goal threat. Not for much longer will he be regarded as the Reds' main man. Liverpool handed fresh injury boost as Arne Slot told to drop 1 player. Liverpool defender Andy Robertson has reported for international duty with Scotland despite suffering an injury against Chelsea. Andy Robertson has handed Liverpool an injury boost ahead of the October international break. The 31-year-old has reported for national team duty with Scotland and seemingly allayed any fears about an issue he suffered in the Reds' loss to Chelsea. The left back was seen limping off in pain after the final whistle at Stamford Bridge, having suffered a knock as Liverpool fell to a last-minute 2-1 defeat. But he reported for international duty, despite the issue, and has now made it clear that he cannot wait to represent his country again during the break, having seen his starting opportunities limited at Anfield so far this season. "I can't wait," Robertson told the Scotland national team's YouTube channel ahead of Scotland's World Cup qualifier against Greece on Thursday. "It feels ages since we have been back here, especially for a meaningful game, a competitive game. Me and the boys just can't wait to be back out in front of the fans and give them something to shout about." Robertson has made 6 appearances, for Liverpool so far this season, but has started only twice after losing his place to Milos Kerkez. The Hungarian has featured in all 11 of the Reds' matches since his 40mm move from AFC Bournemouth, but has struggled for form and came in for intense criticism following his latest showing against Chelsea. Gary Neville slammed the defender after Saturday's loss to Chelsea, insisting he looked naive, a baby, and a youth team player. Meanwhile, former Scotland international Craig Burley shared his belief that Kerkez will soon be dropped by Slot and replaced by Robertson. He's, Slot, brought in one of the best left-backs in the Premier League in Kerkez, who's just lost confidence in his form, Burley said on ESPN FC. I think he's about to get dropped for Andy Robertson. I think he's going to have to bring Andy Robertson back into the team. The whole back line is not working right. Meanwhile, Scotland manager Steve Clarke recently hinted that Robertson had correctly predicted how both his and Kerkez's starts to the campaign would unfold after holding heart-to-heart talks with the defender. I had a good chat with Andy last week and a good chat with him before the season, he revealed ahead of the international break, as quoted by the Daily Record. And it has panned out pretty much how we thought it would at the time, that Kerkez would start in the team, but Andy would find his way into the team. That's what's happened. He's had minutes. We always knew Andy would get lots of minutes. On the plus side for us, if he's getting good minutes for Liverpool but not getting all the minutes, it means he comes into Scotland camps probably a little bit fresher than he has been in recent years, which can only be good for us. Liverpool host Manchester United at Anfield when they return to club action following the international break, with Slot facing a decision whether to persist with Kerkez and recall Robertson. Liverpool faces fresh Marc Guehi transfer battle as new club shares Bayern Munich interest. Liverpool missed out on Marc Guehi in the summer. Foreign clubs will be able to negotiate a free transfer in January, securing a potential head start on the Reds. Liverpool has seemingly decided not to pursue Marc Guehi in January, instead holding out for a potential free transfer in the summer. But that strategy could come under strain amid interest from overseas clubs, with a new side now joining Bayern Munich in the lengthening queue. Having elected to keep his captain over the summer, Steve Parish has most likely forfeited a transfer fee for one of his star players, although the start that Crystal Palace has made on the pitch goes some way to justifying that decision. The problem that Liverpool has is that foreign suitors can start to negotiate a Bosman deal with Guehi from January onward. As a domestic rival, Arne Slot's side cannot open talks until far later, unless it offers a fee in the winter window. Despite the serious injury to Giovanni Leone and question marks over Ibrahima Konate's form, it's thought that Liverpool will not do this. Of course, Liverpool does have an advantage over possible rivals, given that Guehi has already agreed to come to Anfield once. Personal terms were agreed, and he had even completed part of his medical. Other teams seeking the defender's signature will need to make their case from scratch. Liverpool is gambling on the fact that his heart stays set on the Reds, but lots can change in a year, with Liverpool not guaranteed its champion status as a bargaining chip by then. And the clubs seeking to muscle in are not exactly minnows. Either Bayern Munich had already been linked with Guehi, and now Mundo Deportivo says that Barcelona is set to join the battle. Real Madrid, too, has taken a look. Guehi is a gem, especially on a free transfer, and numerous top sides are assessing a possible deal. Against this backdrop, Liverpool will have to give serious thought to altering its stance. How confident is it that Guehi would hold firm if a move to Camp Nou or the Bernabeu presented itself? It may be that his mind is truly made up, but it's clearly a gamble to rely on that fact. After all, the only risk involved in making a move in January would be securing an elite talent 6 months early, at a time when the position looks decidedly vulnerable anyway. Of course, there would be some reluctance to pay a significant fee for a player set to be available for free so soon, but the asking price would presumably be below the $47 million agreed in the summer, or in any case, no higher relative pocket change to Liverpool in the modern era. On the other hand, Liverpool is no longer fighting for its life at Europe's top table. It is comfortably there on merit. While there is still the odd chastening transfer battle with Real Madrid, Anfield is a dream destination for the vast majority of players. Just look at how Richard Hughes was able to operate this summer, gazumping Bayern Munich for Florian Wirtz. Then there was Alexander Isak, perhaps the most sought-after striker around. So if Liverpool does decide to hope that Guehi holds firm, it will not be a lost cause. But with Barcelona joining Bayern Munich in the race, it could be an anxious wait. Federico Chiesa phone call saw Liverpool star left. Out of Italy squad as update issued Arne. Slot has had a handful of injury issues over the opening months of the season and has been offered an update on Federico Chiesa after he was left out of Italy's squad for the international break. Italy boss Gennaro Gattuso has revealed that Liverpool star Federico Chiesa has told him that he is still not fit, hence why he has been left out of the latest batch of international fixtures. The winger was a notable absence for the latest Italian squad. They are set to take on Estonia and Israel over the next week. Asked why he decided not to include Chiesa, Gattuso has confirmed that the winger is still working his way back to full fitness. Speaking in a press conference, he said, "The Chiesa issue is very simple. I talk to my players a lot, and I want to make that clear, a lot. I speak every week with Fade, and he knows what I think of him. But I also have to respect what the player tells me. He does not feel at 100%, and wants to be at 100%. That is the truth." Chiesa has endured a roller coaster season for the Reds so far. After missing the majority of last term, the 27-year-old has only started one game under Arne Slot this season, but he still has 2 goals and 2 assists to his name. He missed the Reds' recent Champions League defeat to Galatasaray. Explaining his issue, boss Slot said, "He got a little niggle. I think it is the word you use here in England. In the last game against Palace. He tried it today. He was on the pitch in the beginning, but he couldn't end the session. So we decided not to take him, because in a few days it's Chelsea again." Chiesa was named on the bench against Chelsea, but was not called upon as Liverpool hunted a winning goal. Instead, Slot decided to substitute midfielder Wataru Endo on. Asked why he chose to do that, the Liverpool boss said, "If you look at the substitution we made, we brought Endo on, who we normally bring in if we think we need a bit more control. The last 10-15 minutes were so open and we were still able maybe to create but definitely needed the control, because we were already with Ryan Gravenberch playing as a center back. I don't think that substitution was too offensive. The rest was because we were 1-0 down and tried to win but making offensive substitutions." Having not been called up for international duty, Chiesa will now have a week off ahead of Liverpool's next game. The Reds' next Premier League clash puts them against fierce rivals Manchester United at Anfield.